Good day, everyone, and welcome to our Week 6, Module 5 of Ethics. And in this specific lecture, we will talk about dilemma. Remember that in the last week, we discussed morality, and it's important that we get to be reminded of what Cicero said as the basis for our specific or our norms of morality, and that in our norms of morality, we said that it has to be leading towards the attainment of ultimate good. Sinabi din ni Cicero that in order for us to attain what is the ultimate good, it's important that people get to understand that they are part of creating goodness. And that when we talk of ultimate good, it's important that the kind of goodness that we offer creates ripple effect. Meaning, ultimate good ang isang bagay kapag ito ay nagdadala ng panibagong kabutihan. Ngayon, yung pinag-usapan natin no, noong nakaraang linggo, meron siyang direct relation sa pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw, which is dilemma. And that when we face dilemma, no, importanteng balik-balikan natin na dapat magdesisyon tayo hindi lamang sa kung ano ang tama, bagkus sa kung ano ang mabuti. So, ano bang dilemma? Pag sinabi nating dilemma, these are the instances in our lives that we have to make a choice and that the option that is being presented are both equally unpleasant. So perhaps you have lied and something terrible had happened, no? In that, in the process of deciding, you get to reflect, wait, teka lang, parang parehas, no, na equally unpleasant tong pinipresent sa akin, no, ng situation na to. So, ano yung gagawin kong basis ngayon, no, in terms of deciding certain things? So, I'll give a very specific example of these in terms of the equally unpleasant choices. So, for example, nakita mo, no, na nag-cheat yung girlfriend or boyfriend ng kaibigan mo. So, option A, di ba, would be for you to tell your friend directly that, friend, yung boyfriend o yung girlfriend mo, nag-cheat. Nakita ko, may kasama. So, that's option A. Option B would be to keep it to yourself. So, why is this both unpleasant? Because A would be unpleasant because it can ruin a friendship dahil baka ang paniwalaan ay yung boyfriend o yung girlfriend at hindi ikaw, no? At stake yung relationship niyo bilang magkaibigan. Option B naman is also an unpleasant choice because you know deep inside your heart you'll be troubled, no? Because possible talaga, no, na yung nakita mo at kung talaga may evidence ka, no, sa harap mo ginawa yung mga bagay, eh di syempre magtataka ka, no? Tama ba itong ginagawa ko? Hindi. So again, this is both providing us with an unpleasant feeling, or in terms of choices that we will make, these are all equally unpleasant. So that's what we mean when we talk of dilemma. Again, a dilemma is a difficult situation in which you have to choose between two or more undesirable alternatives. This is why we also have to really talk about Kohlberg's moral stages of moral reasoning. So again, sa theory, no, ni Lawrence Kohlberg ng moral development, may kita natin na may levels ang bawat development ng morality natin. Si Lawrence Kohlberg ay isang American psychologist at dito siya nakilala, no, sa theory niya na ito. So again, titignan natin yung bawat level. Nasa level 1 ba tayo in terms of decision making natin? Pre-conventional ba tayo? Or level 2 ba? Conventional morality. Or level 3, post-conventional morality. So, of course, you will ask me now, Sir, ano pong difference ng pag sinabi mo yung morality mo nasa level 1, level 2, level 3? So, just a brief, no, discussion, because we'll have a thorough discussion of each one once you get to decide on a certain activity that you will actually answer no, mamaya. Pero tignan muna natin yung bawat level. So sa level 1, tinatawag siyang pre-conventional morality dahil ang basis mo ng right or wrong would be rewards and punishment. So sa stage 1, kaya ka nag-obey or nag-abide, no, sa isang bagay ay dahil alam mo na may punishment ito. Sa stage 2 naman, rewards ang nagiging basis mo para sundin or gawin ang isang bagay. So, balikan natin kung kailan ba nangyari ito sa buhay natin. Kailan ba pwede nating masabi na naging pre-conventional, no? Yung level of morality natin. Or, again, pwede rin itong decision making, ano? So, naalala nyo nung bata kayo, ginagamit ito, no, na bilang pamamaraan, no, ng ating mga magulang para i-correct tayo, no? So, kung maaalala ninyo, kapag gumagawa kayo ng tama, di ba, nabibigyan kayo ng reward? Tapos naman, kung gumagawa kayo ng mali, no, meron kayong na-receive, no, na punishment. So again, rewards and punishment, no, is the basis of what would be right and wrong. No, that's our context back then nung bata tayo during pre-conventional pa, no, yung morality natin. So again, ang tinitignan natin dito ay self-interest, no, natin. Ano ba ang kahihinatnan ng paggawa at hindi paggawa ng mabuti? Lahat ito ay nakabase sa kung ano ang matatanggap na kaparusahan o matatanggap na biyaya o reward. Yan ang pre-conventional. Ngayon, tingnan naman natin yung conventional morality. Yung conventional morality, ang tinitignan mo na dito, societal norms. So, anong ibig sabihin natin ng societal norms and laws? So, sa stage 3, kung titignan ninyo, good intentions is all about behaving in ways that conform to good behavior. At sino ba ang nagdidikta kung ano yung good at bad behavior? Diba? It's the community, our present community that we belong to. So, again, unlike kanina na rewards and punishment, sa stage 3, ang tinitignan mo na ano yung existing na dapat ka mag-conform or in conformity, no, with your society. So, bakit natin to ginagawa? Ginagawa natin to kasi iba na ang nagiging basis, no, ng moralidad. Ang tinitignan mo na, gaano ba ako tinatanggap ng lipunan? So, kung nandito ka sa stage na to, it's either nasa stage 3 ka na you want to conform because that's what society tells you, or pwede ring stage 4. Your obedience is because of what is being dictated by the law. So kung maalala nyo last week, diniscuss natin yung moral positivism. And I think no, this is where moral positivism can be into place, no, in terms of our picture of morality. Na marami sa atin, no, ginagawa lang rin ito dahil nga yun yung sinasabi ng batas. Kaya nga 'di ba sabi din, no, sa idea ng moral rationalism na baka ginagawa mo lang to out of blind obedience. Okay? So, most of us are actually here, no, in conventional morality. Yan. At dahil nga na nasa conventional morality tayo, again, ang keyword, to convene. No? And saan tayo mag-convene? No? Sa society natin. Ang basis ng pinaniniwalaan natin ng goodness or badness ng isang bagay ay nakadepende sa kung paano tayo tinatanggap at posibilidad na hindi rin tayo tanggapin o ikulong tayo ng society because that's what the law says. Moving forward is level 3. At sa level 3, ito ay tinatawag na post-conventional morality. Sa post-conventional morality, ang tinitignan mo na ay hindi lamang self-interest, which is level 1, societal norms and laws, which is level 2. Sa post-conventional morality, it's universal principles of human ethics ang nagiging decision mo. And this is why magandang tignan yung post-conventional kasi nga possible talaga na sa society natin, nasabi ko rin to nung nakaraan, na may mga batas na medyo limited siya, di ba? At pwedeng yung batas, it's right, pero it's not good. So, kung titingnan nyo yung stage 5, tinitingnan dito, difference between moral and legal right. Recognition that rules should be sometimes be broken. No? So, we have to learn. So, again, we have to learn to bend rules from time to time. Lalo na if it is for the good of everyone. So, as I've said also last week, kailangan na re-refine or na-amend yung mga batas natin, no? Na pwedeng tama siya ngayon, pero hindi siya mabuti. Okay. Tignan naman natin yung stage 6. Individual principles of conscience takes account of likely views of everyone affected by a moral decision. So, kung tatandaan din natin, may mga personal tayo na prinsipyo sa buhay na maaring hindi akma no, sa itinatadhana ng batas sa kasalukuyan or maaring hindi rin tama sa itinatakda ng norms ng society natin. So, ano ang post-conventional morality? Ang post-conventional morality is you really looking into what principles you have, no, as your basis of what is good and bad. So I hope when we get to also see post-conventional morality, we get to realize that it's important for us to really reflect on our intentions in every decisions that we create. Again, importanteng bumalik tayo sa sinabi ni Cicero. At ang sinabi niya, we always have to seek and be guided by the ultimate good. Okay. So, ngayon na napanood natin yung kwento ni Heinz, it's important no, that we have to go back no, dun sa sagot nyo kanina, whether dapat bang nakawin ni Heinz or hindi yung drug para sa asawa niya. So kung titignan mo, napakasimple, di ba, ng story. However, kasi nga hypothetical siya eh. Pero kung ilalagay mo talaga siya sa context ng buhay natin ngayon, lalo na't may COVID na existing, we have to think twice no, in terms of whether to say yes or not no, to the activity that Hein should do. Actually, no, we can never really tell, di ba? Kasi kung tayo din siguro yung nandun sa side ni Heinz in terms of how he will respond is highly dependent now on what is really available. Imagine, di ba? Meron naman siyang almost half na nung na-raise na money no, for his wife. However, of course, dahil nga no sa decision no nung gumawa ng drug na ibenta ito sa mas malaking presyo, no? Nasa dilemma ngayon si Heinz. So again, dilemma here is really choosing between unpleasant choices. And that normally when we are presented with unpleasant choices, whether we would say yes or no, meron siyang consequences. And the consequences now will tell us of what kind or of level of morality we have. So again, just to go back no, to the idea, yung mga nagsabi kanina na sila ay hindi nila itutuloy, no? Kasi nga, ito ay labag sa batas at dahil makukulong si Heinz, hayaan niya na lang mamatay yung asawa niya. So technically, you will fall under pre-conventional morality. So, balikan natin no, yung ibig sabihin ng pre-conventional. Ang medyo critic no sa morality of development ni Lawrence Kohlberg is that binigyan niya kasi ng age frame no na sabi niya dito 9 to 10th year of our life. Pero kung titingnan mo kasi hindi pwede nating ikahon yung ganitong belief, yung rewards, no? And punishment system, no? Sa certain age bracket lang. Kasi kahit tayo matatanda na, 'di ba? We're highly motivated. We have self-interest, 'di ba? At this point in time, no, kahit 20, 30, may mga decisions tayo na ginagawa out of self-interest. So I think hindi importanteng tignan yung age dito. Ang dapat nating tignan no, bilang mga nagdidesisyon is that where are we coming from in terms of the decision we will make. Okay. So again, importante na maintindihan natin, self-interest ba ang nagmo-motivate para mag-decide tayo ng mga bagay-bagay. So kung self-interest yan, possibly nasa pre-conventional yung paraan ng pagdedesisyon natin. And that sa ganitong stage, we don't have yet a personal morality code. Yun yung nakakatakot, no? Kasi kahit matanda ka na, pwede talaga na wala kang moral code, no? Meaning that we'll still have to shape it and learn from people around us, our family, our friends, and we have to face the consequences of breaking the rules set by the world. So, ang ganda nito kung sa bata. Pero kung sa matatanda na, teka, we have to really reflect nasaan ba no yung moral code natin as a person. And hindi pwede kasing highly motivated lang yung decision natin by rewards and punishment. Okay? So sabi 'di ba natin nung nakaraan, defective norm kapag ka pleasure ang basis lamang ng mga bagay-bagay. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Can you give me a thumbs up, no? A reaction kung nagigets nyo na yung pre-conventional morality? Okay, I think we're good. We're moving on to the next one. Sa conventional morality, ang tinitignan mo naman, muli, no, ay hindi na self-interest. So, nag-level up. Tinitignan mo na ngayon, societal norms. At sabi din, no, ni Lawrence Kohlberg, ang tinitignan mo na rito, in terms of age, ang expectation niya, dapat nandito tayo lahat, no? Most adolescents and adults should have a conventional morality already. In that, we have already internalized the moral standards of valued adult role models. So, ibig sabihin, dahil na-expose na tayo, most of you are 18 years old, most of you are mid-20s, di ba? Some of you are already working. So, ina-expect ni Lawrence Kohlberg na at this point of time, in terms of our age, dapat naiintindihin na natin kung ano ang standards ng society natin. Ngayon, authority is internalized but not questioned, and reasoning is biased on the norms of the group to which the person belongs. So, yun lang yung criticism dito, ha? Kasi pag sinabi mong conventional morality, it's really the people around you who gets to have a say on what you will decide or what would be your decision. So, anong critic natin dito? Ang critic natin dito, iba-iba kasi yung society, no? Very relative yung goodness. Or sorry, I don't want to use goodness eh. Mas tamang sabihin na yung right and wrong, rightfulness and wrongfulness of a thing is highly dependent on what kind of culture that the society you are in has or have, no? So, for example, there are certain culture that allows people, no, na gawin, or for example, no, in some places in Africa, tinutuli pa rin nila yung mga babae. O, di ba? Medyo, ano yan, pagka sa Pilipino mo sinabi yan, medyo conflicting yan. Kasi, sir, paano yun? Ang babae tinutuli. Eh, hindi naman, wala tayong ganyan sa Philippine context. Pero sa Africa, no, there are still African societies na kinakapon. Yung tamang term, no? Hindi lang hindi lang sa pusa. Merong mga bansa sa Africa na kinakapon nila yung babae. So, again, in terms of conventional morality, pag nandun ka sa society na yon, nakakatakot. Kasi ang ini-expect sa'yo ng society would be magpapakapon ka bilang babae at a certain age. O, diba? So, again, this is where post-conventional morality will come in later. Because in post-conventional morality, universal human ethics at dun pumasok yung UN to intervene. And this is why there are certain activities that UN, pero mamaya ko na to babalikan, ha. So I hope you're getting the point here that when we talk of conventional morality, ang iyong decision-making process, dapat natin ma-recognize yung role ng society doon. Yung tingin natin sa kabutihan at kasamaan ng isang bagay ay hindi na nanggagaling sa rewards at punishment. Ang tinitignan mo na, yung decision ba na gagawin ko ay katanggap-tanggap o hindi katanggap-tanggap sa sinet na standards ng society. At lahat tayo currently, I believe, nandito sa stage na to, one way or the other. Ngayon, tignan naman natin yung level 3 or post-conventional morality. Sa post-conventional morality, ang tinitignan mo na rito ay when you start to live by your own moral code and ethical principles, such as the desire for liberty and justice. We begin to see rules set by the society to be as unnecessary but also a changeable tool for ensuring stability and welfare of the people. Again, ang keyword natin sa post-conventional morality ay universal human ethics and human rights. So, balik ako doon sa example ko kanina na kinakapon may mga society pa rin sa Africa na kinakapon nila yung mga babae at a certain age. Bilang mga tao, naniniwala tayo na hindi dapat yun ginagawa mapa sa lalaki o mapa sa babae. At may standard tayo na dapat hindi tayo nananakit at hindi natin hindi natin nilalagyan ng barrier yung desisyon ng tao sa kung gusto niya ba siyang magbuntis o hindi. At ang nakakatakot doon sa idea na yun, naging prevailing kasi yun, no, sa society, may mga cultural tribes ng Africa, no, na kawawa pa rin ang babae. Pero sa standard nila, tama kasi yun. So sa post-conventional morality, we have to really stand, no, na wait lang, pwedeng ito ang tama sa inyo, pero merong universal value. Ito yung, kung babalikan nyo last week, no, nung tinatanong kayo about moral evolutionism, nagbabago ba yung universal values natin bilang tao? Ang sabi natin, no, we all agreed, sir, hindi. Kahit noon pa man, naniniwala na tayo na yung mabuti, mabuti. Diba? There are certain universal values that we all share and that it has to perpetuate. This is so again, going back to the idea of conventional morality, ang tinitignan natin dito, no, sa decision making ni Heinz, kaya siya conventional dahil pipiliin ni Heinz na i-save yung asawa niya pero okay lang na makulong siya. Kasi yun naman ang sinasabi ng society. 'Di ba? Tapos, pag sinabi naman na post-conventional, ito yung mga nag-decide kanina na wait lang, parang may mali, unfair. 'Di ba? Gagawin ko 'to kasi gusto kong isalba yung buhay ng asawa ko regardless of what the society tells me as right and wrong. Okay, dahil unfair nga, no? Yung situation being presented at him. So, ang question dito, sir, paano 'yun? Paano kami magde-decide? 'Di ba? So I really want us to go back from time to time dun sa sinabi pa rin, no, ni Cicero. Again, I'm zero summing it in, no, sa idea ni Cicero kung ano ba ang good. Again, dapat ultimate good siya. It will create ripple of goodness palagi, no? So, when presented by so many dilemmas, and when we talk of dilemmas, hindi lang siya iisa. There are different types of dilemma kasi. Pwedeng ethics, pwedeng moral, pwedeng classic dilemma. So, ethical dilemma, tingnan muna natin to ha. Ethical dilemma arises when a person is forced to decide between two morally sound options, but they may conflict with the established boundaries of a business, a governmental agency, or a law. So, I'll give you some case studies on this. And in fact, I believe you can also, di ba? You can also from time to time relate malamang sa mga case studies na to. So, let's look at this case study A for ethical dilemma. While in the restroom, you overhear your boss telling a colleague that Bob is going to be laid off at the end of the quarter in about 2 weeks' time. Bob is a good friend of yours. Will you tell him or not? Okay. So what I want you to do in the chat box is this. If you will tell Bob that he will be laid off, type 1. If you will not tell Bob that he will be laid off, type 2. Again, type 1 kung sasabihin mo kay Bob dahil yung narinig mo Okay? Natatanggalin na siya sa trabaho. Type 2, kung hindi mo sasabihin kasi hindi ka pa sure, diba? Sa narinig mo, baka chismis lang. Sige nga, type 1 or type 2? Okay. Sige, 1 more minute not to decide. Okay, so whether you type 1 or type 2, this presents an ethical dilemma because it needs ethical judgment. Whether you tell Bob or not, it requires you to really reflect on your intentions. Huh? Now, moving to the second example, a company policy forbids coworkers to become romantically involved. You go to the same church as someone from another department and you find yourself becoming attracted not to this person. Will you pursue the relationship? Ayan. So, lalagay natin, no? Love naman ang context nito, di ba? Yung kumpanya nyo, sinasabi na hindi dapat, di ba? Hindi dapat kayo mag-pursue ng kasama nyo sa office. So, malamang nakarelate na kayo sa ganito, no? It's actually an ethical rule, no? There are a lot of companies, no? Example na lang sa trabaho ko, na kapag ka naging mag-asawa na, yung dalawang magkatrabaho, the person na either lalaki or babae, isa dapat sa kanila ay mag-resign. Ganyan ang ethical policy, no, when we talk of mag-asawa in the company, or that mapupunta dapat sa ibang department yung isa. No, yun yung policy natin diyan. So, ang question dito is that will you pursue, no, your coworker? Kasi 'di ba ang ganda nga nang nilagay dito magka-churchmate sila, no? Magka-churchmate sila. And in churches, if you would know, no, may mga ganyan sila minsan, 'di ba, na culture building, no, sa mga ready to marry na, 'di ba? Na as much as possible within the church sana yung mapipili nila. So, ano ang gagawin mo kung ikaw ang nasa side nito, no? Kung ikaw napunta sa case study B? Again, I need you to type 1 or type 2. Type 1, ipupursue mo si ate girl or si kuya kung lalaki yung gusto mo. 'Di ba? Or B, hindi. Antayin ko na lang, mag-resign na lang siguro ako. Tapos ako na lang siya i-pursue. Sige nga, ano ang sagot ninyo? Type 1 or type 2? Okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, very interesting ha yung mga nakikita kong sagot, and it shows very well that when we talk of ethical, no, ethical dilemma, talagang ano, no, you have to really decide whether or not this thing matters to you. Okay? Yun naman yun yung kaya mo dapat panindigan, pero titignan mo yung ethical and legal implications sa mga bagay-bagay. At marami tayong na haharap na ganyang klaseng decision making or dilemma in daily life basis. Now, tignan naman natin yung susunod, yung moral dilemma. A moral dilemma is a situation in which a person is torn between right and wrong. A moral dilemma involves a conflict with the very core of a person, principles, and values. A moral dilemma often forces the individual to decide which option he or she can live with, but any outcomes are extremely unpleasant no matter what. So, para mas maintindihan natin context ng moral dilemma, ha, hindi na to rightness or wrongness or wrongfulness of a thing. Para mas malagyan natin siya ng context, ito siya. Case study C. In case study C, naalala nyo to, yung palaging ginagamit, no, kapag kayo ay nasa recollection. Merong isang boat, lifeboat, na merong ilang spaces. Pang-sampuan lamang, pero 11 kayo. Ang tanong, sinong ilalaglag mo sa boat? Okay, mailalaglag ka ba? Para ma-save yung 10, kasama ka. Or ikaw ang tatalon instead para ma-save lahat. So, ang tanong natin dyan, no? Ano ang magiging decision nyo? So, type 1, again, type 1, if you will decide na meron kang ilaglag dun sa boat. Or type 2, if you will decide na ikaw na lang ang tatalon para lahat makasakay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very interesting. Again, walang judgment whether you type 1 or type 2 because, again, this is moral dilemma we're talking. Now, another would be this classic case study, no? Of your friend. Ayan, yung na-share ko na yata to kanina, no? Yung boyfriend o girlfriend ng kaibigan mo, nakita mong nag-cheat. Ang tanong, sasabihin mo ba o hindi, no? Na nag-cheat siya sa kaibigan mo. Type 1 if you will tell, or type 2 if you will not. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For our last type of dilemma, we'll be talking about classic dilemma. Classic dilemma is a choice between two or more alternatives in which the outcome are equally undesirable or favorable. The dilemma does not typically involve a moral or ethical crisis, but the person's life may change as a result of the decision. Classic dilemmas are more than simple choices because they usually prompt the person to think about the outcomes of the choices. So ano ba yung mga classic dilemma na example natin, no? For example, you'll be deciding whether iti-take mo na yung job offer ng kabilang company dahil mas maganda yung bayad, mas maganda yung benefits. So again, hindi siya ethical, hindi siya moral. Ang tinitignan mo lang rito, dilemma, because you have to decide for yourself, 'di ba? And your family. And lastly, whether you will move ba to a new city or not for a greener pasture. So ito yung mga classic, no, na dilemma na piniface natin. So I'd like to sum everything up, no, with what Michael Josephson said. Character is just another term for good person. A person of character lives a worthy life guided by moral principles. A person of character is a good parent, a good friend, a good employee, and a good citizen. So we have to really strive not only to become a good person, but a person of character. Sana dun tayo papunta lahat. At the end of the day, hindi lang striving to become good people, but really to become people of character. So again, this all presentations are available in your VCs. Just please take a look at it. And for all of the references for this lecture, this is available on the last slide. So that would be all in terms of dilemma. Now, if you have questions, you can raise your hand for us to process all of your questions about dilemma.